We are live in Orlando. Happy Thursday night to you guys. We got a lot of cool things we're talking about tonight, from theme parks and development, real estate, but more so your questions. We had a ton of good questions because I've been gone for the past 2 weeks, and I'm excited to kind of catch up with you guys, answer some questions, and just have a good time with you guys this Thursday night. Whether you're watching on replay or you're watching live, thanks so much for being here. Let us know in the comments below where you guys watching from. This always helps us let us know what kind of content we should put out, whether it's on Instagram, over at the Orlando Reel, or here on this YouTube channel, and kind of I'll just curate a little bit more of what we should do. Should it be more moving to content? Should it be, hey, I live here already, I just want to know a little bit more? But just let us know down there. By the way, Chase Farmer, how are you, buddy?
Living the dream, as usual.
You excited that you got a couple weeks off?
It feels weird to be back in the driver's seat. I will say that. How's your week been?
Dude, it's been really good. It's been really good. I feel like I've got a lot of cool stuff. I got a couple of things I'm going to share with you guys in a minute that I found locally I'm excited about. But no, it's been a good week for sure. So just checking in. We got Miami Coffee checking in from Miami. My guess is we got Robert checking in from Claremont, I believe. We got checking in from Alicia checking in from Wellness Ridge as well. Brenda checking in from Illinois. We got Pickles checking in from the Grand Floridian. Go Tigers, the #1 MLB team, the Detroit Tigers. Super excited. Alex checking in from the Milk District. Love all the local development news. That means a lot. Thank you so much. We're definitely going to talk about some of that tonight. But see, Nicholas checking in from Panama City, Florida. A whole bunch of people with it tonight. So thank you for hanging out with us. And let us know down below, what comments or questions do you have? Make sure you're interacting. This is a community, and it makes it a lot more fun when we're all just hanging out and chatting. So the top news story that we're going to talk about tonight is this Disney World 5th park. Now, people have been talking about this forever. When is it going to happen? What's going to happen? Where's it going to be? So Disney World plans to open massive new theme park, first since 1998, and here's what it will entail. And so this is the New York Post. This was also on, I think this was on Forbes. This was on Fox. This was like all over the internet. We had, what is it? Walt Disney World News Today, all of these places picked this up as if this was a foregone conclusion. This was happening immediately. And so even the New York Post says the Walt Disney World has been conjuring up a whole new kingdom. Its first new park since Animal Kingdom opened in 1998. And according to long-term blueprint with the Central Florida Tourism Oversight District, dubbed the Comprehensive Plan 2045, the Mouse House has supposedly carved out a space for a major theme park, two smaller ones, most likely water parks, to come out over the rolling decades. And so it earmarked 400 to 500 acres. So a possible mega park, which should be right in between Magic Kingdom, Epcot, and Hollywood Studios. And so everybody took this as Bible. They took this as like, this is happening. Yes, we haven't heard from Disney just yet, but it probably is coming any minute now. And then my guy Scott over on X, if you guys don't follow Scott Gustin, this guy puts out breaking news all the time. And I thought this was like a really interesting take. He was the only one that I saw this as the counter to everyone else kind of going hard after this is coming. And he said, Scott said, the district's allowance of the 5th gate at Walt Disney World has been in the comprehensive plan since 2010. This is nothing new here, except that the possibility still exists, like it has for the past few decades. Nothing new, nothing imminent. The truth is boring. I know. He says. He has said that the next thing down here is that the most noteworthy thing was that the allowance for the state. The allowance states that the 5th park would not be allowed before 2035. For the next 10 years, we can't get a new park, basically. Let's all remember that the date that the Central Florida Tourism Oversight District inevitably makes other updates. So unless they make other updates, nothing new changes. Now they could literally, like Disney could go to Central Florida Tourism Oversight District, I still hate that name, and say, hey, listen, we want to move this up. We want to actually change things. Can we get moving forward? And by the way, it is a really cool, graphic when you look at kind of like how all of this breaks down over here. And so let's see if I click on here. Does this look okay, Chase?
Yeah,
on your
it looks
side?
good.
All right, cool. So this is all the land that Disney owns here in Central Florida, not including Lake Nona and some of the other stuff here. But all the green is conservation. And so you see like down here, this is all conservation around celebration. So we're not going to see anything on this side of the park. All of the pink is entertainment area. And so we've got Magic Kingdom up top here. We've got obviously Hollywood Studios, Epcot, those kind of things already exist. And so when you break down the comprehensive plan of what potentially could be, there's plenty of space left for easily 400 or 500 acres for a fifth gate. And so they're setting that aside and they're saying, hey, this is going to be something that we could potentially one day do. Now, I will tell you, this was interesting as well here, Chase, that today, or actually, I'm sorry, that yesterday, Josh D'Amaro was over at Epic Universe. What do you think about that?
He's probably just going for a little visit.
I think so. If you go, so here's a photo over on Twitter or X, whatever. So Megan Delahunt put out here. So basically, he was hanging out over at Epic, which I would too. I think this is cool. Like, go benchmark your competition, figure out what's working, what's not working, and I think just take some appreciation for the newest theme park, the newest and biggest, and in my opinion, probably one of the best, if not the best park in Orlando. Have you been yet?
I still haven't. I'm waiting. Now we're too far into the heat. Like, I'm waiting. I'm not going to go whenever there's not that much shade.
Dude, there's always going to be something. I feel like this guy over here.
I'm not going to go to Stair World and burn.
Stair World and burn. Oh, that's so funny. Also going back over here, JJ checking in from Hunters Creek. Yaz checking in from Windermere. Lost Lion from Dallas. Says I want to move to Orlando. Come on out, man. There's so many. It's cool. So what did you think, man? Does this upset you? If you're watching there, do you guys let us know down below? Is this upsetting to you? The fifth park, not imminent immediately. This just continues on something that we already knew. And yet, man, people ran with that, didn't they, Chase?
Yeah, they did. Yeah, it's really nothing. But big surprise. That's how news usually is.
Exactly. That's why you got to go a little bit deeper than just the surface level kind of stuff. But let's take over to keep going with the Walt Disney World news, because this is actually something that I thought it was interesting. This is 2 days old. Inside Disney World's massive transportation operation. This is something Disney Experiences put out. And if you guys haven't seen this infographic, I thought it was fascinating. You look here. So, oops, what happened? Oh, there we go. 130 million annual riders across all free modes of transportation. That's a ton.
Yeah.
130 million annual rides. Now, I'm kind of curious. Is it every time I get on the monorail, does it count as a new rider?
I think probably.
That would make a little bit sense. So 600 passengers per ferry, 250 more than the largest New York ferry, according to the New York Ferry's website. And you look at kind of how all this stuff runs out. I just thought this was cool. 12 monorails. There's almost 15 miles of track. 424 buses, 43 square miles of roads, 13th largest bus ridership in the United States. That's wild. 304 gondolas. It's interesting when you think about, Epcot wasn't the exact world that Walt Disney actually wanted to create, but Disney does transportation better than most major cities, including Orlando. And so it's kind of an interesting thing. What's your favorite way to get around Walt Disney World? Let us know down below. Mine is probably the gondolas.
I still have not gotten on one of the gondolas.
Bro, do you even live in Orlando?
I do. I just don't take the gondolas.
The gondolas are fun. It stinks when you're trapped in one. That's for sure. But I was always really nervous. The overall, like the heat, and even in July, August, they have these little vents, and so as long as you're moving, they stay really cool. But man, if it stops for one reason or another, oh man, it's a little toasty there.
Yeah.
All right, let's go. What questions do we have there for us today?
I have one that came over while you were out.
Oh, okay.
There's a pretty in-depth one, but I'll kind of knock it out here. So Chet reached out. He said, "Hey Ken, hope you're doing well. I wanted to float another question for the show. I know you went to Nashville with the Orlando delegation last year, and one thing you've brought up multiple times since is how badly our city's codes and permissions process needs an overhaul.
Yeah.
Did anything ever come of that trip in terms of real change, or is the city still doing the same old thing?" And then he gave a couple of examples of some locations that were both kind of stuck in permitting.
Yeah, I think so. Chet, I know this guy, by the way. He follows us over on Instagram. So thanks so much for the question and thoughtful question. So has anything come from that? Not immediately. I think it was more so, it was really cool for the delegation, for all of the mayors, both the city and the county, and people that work in the development scene. It was business people, it was politicians, it was everybody, to see another city that had basically this like a similar vibe. It was tourism. They kind of turned to where now Nashville has a ton of new businesses. They've got a ton of people moving there. They're doing a really good job with some transportation. Yes, they've got their woes like so many other ones, but one of the things that we all took away was that how similarly like Nashville had its downtown scene, and it had a little bit of like a, their broad, like Broadway, which is, you got wedding venues and like party city, like sort of thing, but nothing that was like this downtown area that was crushing it. And they took all of these neighborhoods that used to be kind of spread apart, and they've interconnected many of them with their development. And that was a change to the code. And one of the things that they said that they were going to do, which the people from Orlando and Orange County thought was interesting, which was take like, I'm overestimating, but it was like take 1,000-page code book and simplify it down to 40 pages or something like that. It was like basically make it what was impossible possible for people to invest in the city. And they did that. And then they hired a bunch of people to be able to speed up the process. And through that, they've seen massive growth. And so here in Orlando, you think about, okay, how could we do that? And so one of the things that they've been working on, Chet, is this overhaul of development rules and proposed for Orange County. And this actually, so this is a story that was put out a month ago, but it's called Orange Code. And so Orange County, according, this is the Central Florida Public Media put this out. It says Orange County is finalizing its new blueprint for more sustainable growth. They're calling it Vision 2050. The county commissioner slated to discuss and hear public comment on the proposed framework couple weeks ago. It's already done through. So Vision 2050 effectively overhauls Orange County current plan to be carried out. And their goal is basically, here, this last part is what matters the most. The proposed overhaul aims to modernize the county's approach to managing development, which hasn't been updated since the 50s. Overall, the goal is to direct growth in the right places and towards existing urban areas with bigger populations, like around I Drive, and away from the county's more natural rural areas. And so this is basically what Nashville did. And so we took that away when we left. Like, oh, if Orange Code actually goes forward, now we can see more. You look at like Fashion Square Mall is a great example. That could easily be torn down, repurposed. You've got like more hyper urban areas where people could be walkable, live, work, play, like actually. But instead of it being urban sprawl where you have to go to freaking Volusia County to see anything, that it would actually be in our downtown core. And then all of a sudden you start connecting the Milk District and the Hourglass District and Thornton Park and all of these really cool neighborhoods that we already have, but kind of almost don't feel super connected. That's the one thing that Nashville did well, is what their leadership said anyways, which was taking this fractured city and making it feel cohesive. And so if Orange Code does move forward, and I think it will, this will be a good thing for developers to be able to more speedily redevelop these areas. That's a long-winded way of saying I'm excited, and hopefully it's coming soon. Now it says Vision 2050. You think, oh, that's not going to happen for another 25 years, but no, this is like literally what do we want to see in the city in 25 years? What do we need to have happen now in order to get that to happen? And so changing the codes are a really big part of that. Let's go to JJ Hernandez. Has a good question here. Says, hey, Ryan Serhant says New Yorkers are fleeing to Florida. Should we just hand them Mickey ears and raise home prices again? Yeah. So if you guys didn't hear, so there's like a whole mayoral situation. I don't talk politics really one way or the other, but a lot of people seem as though they want to move here. And so it's where I don't know that we've been getting calls over the past 24 hours, but apparently a lot of New York agents that I am friends with, Ryan Serhant aside, are talking about, hey, if all of this kind of goes the way that we think, Florida is probably where we're looking. They're looking at Palm Beach. They're looking at Miami, and a lot of those Miami people most likely will be pushed out and moved to Orlando. But man, we had a story which I thought was kind of interesting. Here we go. Orlando. This is from the Growth Spotter. Who's our buddy over there? James, new writer over at the Centennial and Growth Spotter. So Orlando, second fastest growing metro for millionaire homeowners, the data shows. I thought this kind of blew me away, honestly, when I read this. It says Orlando is now the top draw for millionaires, and lots of them are choosing to rent instead of own, according to a recent report, nationwide listing service Rent Cafe. It says the data is based on Rent Cafe's analysis of information and the world's largest accessible database. And basically, the real estate market in Orlando provides diverse investment opportunities, including luxury homes, high-end rental properties, according to Growth Spotter's interview. And so it says trending metro areas for millionaire homeowners: Salt Lake City, Orlando, Pensacola, somewhere in California, San Luis, Chattanooga, Tennessee, Worcester, Palm Bay, Deltona, Florida. That kind of blows me away.
It's interesting.
But it's like there's 14 times more millionaire homeowners in 2023 than there were in 2019. That's what they're judging off of. And so in Orlando, there's 1,000 millionaire households in 2023 versus 54 millionaire households in 2019. Now, this can't be all of this. Has to like literally be the city. This can't be all of Metro Orlando. That seems like you're telling me that there were only 54 millionaires in all of Metro Orlando in 2019. That doesn't seem right to me.
No.
So yeah, it'd be interesting again to dive into the data a little bit more. But that was interesting. Got me. The headline. What do you think, man?
It doesn't surprise me. I feel like this is like a hub where I feel like a lot of people are moving to. So it doesn't surprise me that especially younger people that are becoming millionaires, like they're like, I want to go have fun. I'm going to go into the center of Florida. I feel like a lot of people are flocking here. And then what better place than like right in the middle of it, you know?
Yeah. And I think a lot of millionaire, like high net worth individuals that we're talking to, many of them, not only are they coming from other places in the country, but internationally. And then we're talking, a lot of them are moving from Miami. And so we did a reel over on Instagram talking about kind of where population's moving from. Actually, I should have brought that up on the show. If you can look up that link, actually, Chase, that I shared. It's interesting when you look at the data of people moving here and where they're moving from. The good majority of migration that's happening right now is actually from Florida. It's from Miami and Jacksonville and Tampa, and like literally all the coasts are coming into Orlando right now, which is causing prices to stabilize. And so some people ask like, hey, inventory is picking up. Are we nervous around what's going on in Orlando? I'm just not yet. Like, yeah, prices have definitely come down in a lot of areas, but they've actually gone up in others. And so when you look at some of these people that are leaving Miami and they're like, hey, it's more expensive to live there, Orlando seems like a deal, and they're buying houses or renting, according to this place. That's just an interesting market, more dynamic than I think we've ever been.
Yeah.
Let's talk about, I feel like there's a good chat comment. Let's see, back to the live one. George Cook says, Orlando needs a 285 beltway around it like Atlanta has. Chase, entertain the crowd while I look this up real quick.
Look at that. I found the question.
Oh, we go.
There we go.
Good for you. Thank you. Here we go. I've got over here the 2045. Why everybody's talking 20, 30 years out. This is 2045 is going to be here before we know it, but it is wild.
Oh, don't say that.
It is, man.
Don't say
you're going to be an old man. I'm going to be an even older man. Let's see. I want to show you guys. Here we go. So this is actually, speaking of, is that George? Is that the right name?
Yep.
All right. So George, check this out. This is actually going to be the Beltway, like Atlanta you just mentioned. So this is again, and it's funny, somebody from CFX reached out to us this week asking us if we could kind of sit down and talk about all these changes going on. So thank you for that. Really excited to sit down and talk more about roads. The most nerdy thing ever, and yet I love it. So you look at this beltway that doesn't currently exist. So this green road, 515, down to the blue road, the 538, none of this exists, but connecting back up and around to the 429 and then over to the 408, like you'd have this beltway around, and then you have two ways to get out to the coast. So the 528, which does exist currently, and the 524, which doesn't currently exist. So they're saying that all of these roads, all this yellow and all this color that you see right now on the screen, $22 billion is what it's going to cost to get this to happen, which is a huge number.
Just a few dollars.
Just a few doll hairs. But it does give us that beltway that so many other cities have and like ways to get around, which again, we need. Now, yes, we need trains. If you look here, it actually does talk about, I feel like where was this? You've got the Bright Line right here. You've got the Sunrail, right, coming down all the way through here. And this is, especially once the Sunshine Corridor overlays onto this is because like Central Florida Exchange, they do just like toll roads mostly, but then you add on kind of what FDOT's doing with I-4, and you add on the Sunshine Corridor and all of these partners finally playing well together. Hopefully it doesn't take us 20 years to get there, but at least over the next 3 to 5 years, we're going to see some pretty significant relief.
Yeah.
All right. So let's go to Matt's question.
Okay.
He says, how would you rank or categorize quality of builds in terms of customization between Pulte, Dreamfinders, and Taylor Morrison? Those are, you basically named like Pepsi, Coke, and some other cola. I don't know. Everybody has their own flavor that they like a little bit better, but they're all very similar. They're like what I would consider, depending on the neighborhood. Some of them are like, I would say, top third type of builder. Like they're not in the middle. They're like, some of them are nicer, but they're all pretty much right in the middle. They're not an entry level builder like Lennar and DR Horton. They're not higher end like some of the semi custom stuff like a Toll Brothers, but they're like right in the middle. And then depending on what part of town you're in, they offer different things as a base. I would say Dreamfinders is probably the most consistent across the board here in Central Florida. So if you see something in Nona, you'll probably see the same thing in Horizon West. Whereas Taylor Morrison, they have all these different products. They've got their 55 and older product, Esplanade, and they've got their like a lot of different kind of things. Same thing with Pulte. Pulte has their Del Webb product. They've got their Syntex product, which is their Syntex product is very similar to like Lennar. But yeah, they're all right in the middle. They offer very similar finishes across the board pretty much. I know that's like a non-committal answer, but the three builders you gave me happen to be all like very, very similar. I would say Taylor Morrison and Pulte are probably the most similar. Do you want to go? Let's go pop over to the mailbag here.
You have to respond. I think this is hilarious.
Is Chase the comic relief? Yeah, I guess so. I guess so, Lonnie. I would say so. He's everybody needs a jester, you know. And like,
shut up. Let's see what's in the mailbag.
Let's do it.
We got, which one of these do I want to do? We'll do Tessa from Tennessee.
Okay.
It seems like the most fun things to do in Orlando are the theme parks. During the summer, when it's either scalding hot outside or pouring rain, what do you do? Is there enough to do outside of the parks?
Yeah. I mean, what do you do when you live in Florida? You go to the pool, you go to the beach, you jump back and forth from AC to AC. I don't know, man. I've gotten used to the heat here. It took me like 3 years to get like used to it, where during the summer I still wear jeans. When I go to like the theme parks, I'll wear shorts, but I don't know. People, you get used to it. And then, the rain happens often. So like you bring an umbrella almost as much as possible. And then one of the things, this is an old man Ken thing for sure to do, is I do love an umbrella to block out the sun. I don't do it often, but like if it's really hot, the UV is crazy and I'm standing in lines, just bring the umbrella. It's good for rain. It's good for UV. But for the most part, pools, the beach, and then running from AC to AC. That's how I deal with it.
Honestly, whenever the rain hits, you're usually like, oh my God, I'm so happy that it's finally raining because you're so hot.
For sure. Let's do Sunrail Cope.
There you go.
All right. So is there any plans to upzone more of downtown Orlando since the core is really tiny? I would also like to know if they're going to add more markets than restaurants. More markets. What would you think that would be?
I'm wondering as well.
Yeah. If you're, I don't know the difference between market. Like you're talking about like food halls, definitely. Because like there's the Bumby Arcade, which has been talking about for years. They've got the signs out there that they're going to move forward. I think they're waiting for like Westcourt and Travel and Leisure to actually move downtown before they open, because right now a new restaurant opening on Church Street isn't going to do super well because there's just not enough people with foot traffic. But I'm telling you guys, I do like firmly believe in my soul that over the next 2 to 3 years, we're going to see that downtown core have some resurgence, because you've got these big projects moving forward that will just start to spur little businesses, big businesses. They're all going to like it. But like as it sits right now, you go down there tonight, not as much to do. And so, I don't know if that answered the question, but I think you're going to see more restaurants and like markets like that open up the more that downtown space kind of starts to get redeveloped.
Yeah. Do this one from JJ.
Hey, Ken, how are you feeling about the response to your reel on overrated neighborhoods? Think you'll do one of the most underrated spots people are sleeping on? Oh, that's a good one. Not tonight, because I really want to think about it. It was interesting, JJ. People talked about Lake Nona was the most overrated in the comment section. Again, I personally don't believe that. I mean, it was freaking cow fields 20 years ago. And people were saying, well, we were sold the vision of one day there was going to be this amazing town center and all this kind of stuff. I'm like, yeah, it takes time. They're building a freaking city within a city. And so like, I get it. Like, I don't want to be too big of a fanboy, but I look at like, there's a bunch of new restaurants. There's a bunch of new places to live. There's a bunch of new jobs. You've got the USTA. You've got like some of the best hospitals. Like our kids go to the children's hospital there whenever they need it. I don't know. Like people love to complain, I feel like. And so in my reel, I said, I thought it was like misalignment of expectations, where you expect like overnight, there's going to be this like metropolis, but stuff takes time. So anyways, underrated. That would be a really good one.
Yeah, agreed. I like Mr. Sean's comment here.
Mr. Sean says the heat isn't really that bad, but if you want to do anything outside, you just plan for it, morning or evening. You also don't learn to change. You learn to change your attire, throwing cotton for dry fit. Yeah, for sure. I do my running at night. Like once the sun goes down, that's usually when I run. Because it gets to be very toasty.
Oh, he clarified here.
To clarify, I mean more food markets, or even other markets like computer stores or even furniture, clothing stores. Man, yeah, there's like zero retail downtown right now.
Yeah.
That is it's a desolate waste town. But there used to be. That's the thing. Like when downtown Orlando was popping, there used to be a ton of that stuff, and it's just tough when there's no foot traffic. The fact that businesses can even stay open is kind of wild, and so it's going to spur some of these. It's going to take a really big business and or multiple businesses to invest in downtown kind of like all at once to then spur some pretty significant growth. You look at so I'm from Detroit originally, and their downtown area was desolate. I mean, like the city filed for bankruptcy, and there was just homeless and empty buildings, and it was horrible. And then all of a sudden, the Gilbert family that owns like Rocket Mortgage and the Cleveland Cavaliers, they came in and they bought up everything, and then they forced their workers to move downtown. And then through that, like all of a sudden it's restaurants and new buildings and then businesses to support those. And then it's just like their downtown core, like Detroit as a major city isn't what it used to be, but like the downtown core is actually phenomenal. They've got their Lions, Tigers, and Red Wings play down there. And so when I think about what Orlando can be, I keep thinking of that, of just like, it's not even as bad as Detroit was. It's already got a lot of really great stuff. They already have infrastructure. They already have the magic down there. And so I think it's going to take some big businesses almost forcing some of their employees downtown, which will then spur growth, and then we'll all be able to benefit. So
cool. I had one more from, just a comment on that.
Damon says the city of Orlando has not managed growth well. What can they do to improve? I think that's a big part of what our friend David, who came in from the Downtown Development Authority, just kind of first it was listening, like figuring out what do people want, and then how do we as a city get in and reinvest into that, and then partner with our corporate partners to make that happen. So making things like more walkable and more safe and all of these kind of things, bringing people downtown to, if you come downtown, you want it to be a place that you can hang out and be safe. So I think they're going to be doing some economic things to spur growth, which I think is just where it starts.
I had honestly a question here from the mailbag that kind of fits in line with that. Right here. Marty from Claremont asks, I know Orlando is supposedly working on their downtown area to help with a better nightlife scene, but I keep seeing videos online of how wild it is after hours. Do you think any changes have been made yet that help with that? And if not, when do you think we'll see a difference?
No, I don't think much has changed. I know, so you look at what they've done to the bar scene downtown has kind of been, they started forcing the bar owners, if you want to stay over after a certain hour, you had to, pay for the police to show up. And they were trying to, I think, shut down a lot of that stuff to just get rid of some of the nightlife. And so I think that I'm not sure it's had massive improvement at all. But then I do believe in their vision that once it starts to spur forward, that it'll be great. It's just, I don't know that there's been a lot of changes just yet. All right. Let's keep going on. We got a bunch of other actual stories to talk about. Jeez, oh Pete's. Here's one thing I'd like to see downtown, but it's actually in Casselberry. Speaking of an area that maybe people sleep on. So Team Payne Skate Parks is in Casselberry. So the Wheel Park in Casselberry is now open. This is on 951 Winter Park Drive in Casselberry. And I was like, I saw this scrolling through Facebook and I was like, oh, this is interesting. And there's a lot of people that shared it, like 700 people shared it, 4,300 people liked it. And so skate parks, this is wild. Actually, you did a video about Splendid China, and people were talking about they were breaking in and skating there later on. But this is kind of wild. I feel like there's some things in skate parks, wild. Having to come back, dude. Have you ever stepped on a skateboard, Chase Farmer?
Of course. What do you think? I was on skateboards. I had a ripstick. I don't know if you remember those.
I do. Of course I do.
I had a ripstick. I had a ton of different. I was outside a lot growing up.
Good for you, man. That's great. That's great. I freaking love it. Hey, can I give you? So I want to give another little shout out. So I think skate parks are cool. There was a place. If you guys ever went to the Lakeland Antique Mall, and you have been there, and that's actually one place I do know that you've been.
I have.
So there used to be a place there called Recycling the Magic, and they actually moved up from Lakeland to, I'm not sure if it's Claremont or actually Winter Garden. It's on 50, but it's right around the corner. I literally just went there. Let's see, recycling. Oh, Oakland. So it's right in between. So they're at 16415 West Colonial, or 50 in Oakland. And so this place is wild. And I'm going to show you what I bought there this week, because I went in there and was like, my jaw was on the floor. Like, obviously, if you look around the studio, like, I've got a lot of random theme park stuff that I've collected over the years. But I thought this was so stinking dope. So this is like an Imagineering. Look at this.
It's very cool.
Don't steal this from me, Chase. But like, this is cool. So it's like a little work thing. They had a ton of stuff, like all these. And I'm like, where do you get this? And they're like, oh, it's just people's collections. And she told me something like, they have had more traffic through from the first quarter than they had all last year in Lakeland. And so this place is wild. Like, let's check out some of these photos. You walk in there, if you're a collector of any kind, I mean, there's a trash can from Walt Disney World. There's like, and it's just room after room after room.
How did they end up getting a trash can? Like, that's so crazy.
I feel like I think they used to throw stuff away. I had heard somebody that worked on the Great Movie Ride that said that like Disney made them literally destroy everything,
Horrible.
Unfortunately, which is, I'm sure some stuff went to the archives, but look at this, Trader Sam's. Your dad would love this stuff.
Yes, that's the first thing I was thinking. You're awesome.
So yeah, anyways, if you are a Disney or a theme park fan, they've got Universal stuff, Disney stuff, all types of stuff. And it's not cheap, I'll tell you. Like, everything was fairly expensive, but like, even if you find something small that if you're like a collector, anyways, I want to give them a shout out. They're crushing it over on 50. When I was there, like midday, the place was packed. And so, yeah, that was a cool little shout out for a local business.
Also, speaking on the Lakeland Antique Mall, we went again recently, like since they've made their move, because whenever they moved is whenever this place moved here.
Oh yeah.
And there's still a ton of memorabilia in the back. Like, there was a bunch of stuff from a lot of the resorts. They had all the stuff from Terminator. Whenever it closed.
What?
Yeah, like they had a bunch of, like, they're not animatronics, but they were the kind of the boxes in Shrek. I don't know if you remember, there was like the three little pigs.
Yeah.
And they have all those for sale. Like, they still have a lot of park stuff in the back.
What? Oh, I didn't even know that she was still running like two. I thought it was all in the one spot.
It may be, they made that specific vendor, I think, made their own, but I think they have another vendor that had a bunch of other stuff. So there's still a lot of park stuff.
Got it. Right on. Well, speaking of other local spots, Joel Voigt says, what's the best burger at Hangry Bison? I'm a Sally guy, man. I don't have a lot of burgers, much to others' chagrin. They've got I don't know. Bison burger is good. They have a whiskey burger there that actually is fairly good. My wife tried to steal her little bites from time to time, but yeah, they're right downstairs.
Yeah.
You're curious where we're at.
Always a salad is what you're always grabbing from there.
Always a salad. And they got really good ones there. Kenneth Torres says, hey, I moved to Orlando from Colorado Springs 4 months ago, and the family and I are loving it here. I appreciate all the updates to the amazing city. Thanks for that, man. A fellow Kenneth. Did you know my name is actually Kenneth?
I did.
Yeah. Don't call me Kenny. All right, let's keep going.
Okay.
We got, what are other ones we want to talk about? Oh, this is interesting. So going back to real estate, what's the latest housing trend? Smaller homes, bigger kitchens, it appears. So this is from the Orlando Sentinel. And so your dad says, this is by Laura. Laura, I freaking love Laura. She's also over at the Growth Spotter. You're not imagining it. It says the homes across the United States are getting smaller, but kitchens are getting bigger. Not huge kitchens. And huge kitchen islands are replacing dining rooms in most new homes. Like, that seems it's very rare that I go into a brand new house and there's this massive dining room anymore. Like, pretty much everybody is living in the kitchen and that kind of like living space. But it says last year, the median size of new house was actually 2,150 square feet. That's the 10th year in a row that the number has come down. It's 300 square feet smaller than a decade ago. And it's smallest since 2009, which 2009, like, that was when the term McMansion was like everywhere. Everybody was like, the bigger, the better. That's why builders were driving profit. But because pricing is what it is, people have had to pull back. And I think this is actually a good thing. I think the fact that not everybody needs to live in a 4,000 or 5,000 square foot house. And if we can keep pricing coming down, now it does come back to the builders and developers trying to figure out how do they turn a profit on a smaller home like this. And so I was talking to Chase before the show. One of my favorite models I've seen lately is Ashton Woods. They've got the Plant 2 model. I think it's like 1,700 square feet, but it's just a great single story rear entry with a 2-car garage, but it's really lives very well. And so, yeah, I think they're going to see more and more of this kind of stuff. But I am kind of curious, like, what do you feel like is like a great size for a house? Like, what do you feel like is maybe the minimum or the maximum that you would want to live in? I'm kind of curious, those watching. Let's go back over here. Sorry. What else you got from the mailbag, dude, while I'm looking this up?
I got a handful. Let's see here. Oh, go ahead. What were you gonna
say? Miami says, I think Ken is a safe bet. Yeah, I agree.
Theo from Alaska says, I hear a lot about Celebration being the town that Disney built, but when you're there, does it really feel like an extension of Disney? Is there any magic that carries over from the parks?
I think the holidays is when Celebration shines. Like now snowing downtown Celebration, awesome. They've got they for the longest time they had Radio Disney down there during that event. Like that's where they shine. It's just a normal neighborhood, guys. Like it's a very well maintained normal neighborhood, in my opinion. They have like little, if you go up to some of like the light posts, actually all the light posts have like a stamped Disney on them. And so like you think about just like these little touches, and I believe that still that like one of their board members for the Homeowners Association works for Disney. So because they do control all of the architecture there in the town still. And so you go there and it feels very Disney-like, right? But it's not, it doesn't feel like you're on vacation all year round. It feels like you're in a normal neighborhood. And I love Celebration for a lot of different reasons. But I think, again, going back to the expectations conversation, where people are like, I'm going to move there. It's going to be like I'm living at Disney year round. And it's just not. It's just a beautiful neighborhood.
I agree.
I'm glad. I am glad that you agree. Let's talk about new developers submit plans for commercial project of former Area 15. And so this is over at the Gross Spotter. They were talking about, this is kind of a huge bummer. I was really excited. This was right off of I-4, right near Darrell Carter Parkway. There's a huge space over there. And now it looks like they're going to be turning it into more retail. And yeah, I mean, it's almost an extension from O-Town West and everything else going on over there, which is across I-4. So if you're looking at this map here, O-Town West is kind of right up here to the northwest. And so what it looks like they're going to be taking advantage of. So CBRE is going to be doing marketing on this property. And so the developer moved in, and they're going to be doing a restaurant pad right now and a bunch of, retail over there. And so what could have been Area 15 is now going to be more restaurant and retail.
Do you know why they ended up pulling out of this?
I think it was the perfect storm of the economy started slowing down. They did so well in Vegas. Would they still do really well here? Could they re-enter our market again in the future? Maybe, but obviously their economics didn't work. They bought the property. They were getting ready to move forward. And then they said, whoa, like something's going on. And honestly, if I'm them, I think it makes sense. I think what's going on in the market right now, things softened. If they opened up, like if they would have went full bore, they probably would have been opening next year. And maybe they caught the economy coming back. But that's a big risk to spend tens of millions of dollars on an entertainment facility like that, with hopes. Now, like you look at Epic, right? Epic's slow to take off. I mean, although it's doing really well, Universal's invested for the long haul. They probably knew that, like, regardless of what happens in the economy, they've got it baked in. So yeah, anyways. JJ says, are we celebrating or stress eating over the Magic drafts and trades? Did we cook or get cooked? I mean, listen, I think Jace Richardson is going to be a good one. I think people are talking about he's like a Cole Anthony replacement at guard. I'm okay with it, honestly. I think that's great. I like Cole Anthony. I'm kind of bummed. Like when fucking talking about cooking, like when he was on, he was on. But no, I'm excited about the Bane trade. I think it's going to be good. I think we gave up a lot to get him, but that means to me that they're excited to win now. And yeah, I'm here for it. So speaking of which, the Orlando Magic sent me this. This is probably, I have got to take this home. It's been here for a week. But look how sick this is.
It's so nice, dude. It's the actual like print, and the shirt itself is very nice.
Yeah, this is like, yeah, exactly. Who made this shirt? Dunvin? Greetings from the Dunvin Beach Club. Yeah, this thing is sick. I love the new logo. I think they're doing well. I'm excited about it. All right, let's keep going here. What else we got here? Oh, here's a one. So Lake County developer launches $17 million project with 48 townhomes and retail space. And so this is so Center Green Development breaks ground on a Eustis project. So it includes 48 townhouses, 9,000 square feet of retail space, and the development's going to feature amenities like pickleball courts, splash pad. By the way, are you a pickleball person or a tennis court person? Let us know down below. What about you, Chase?
I thought you were about to ask me. No way.
Neither of them.
If I had to choose one, I'm playing tennis. No way. I'm not playing pickleball
because your bum knee.
Yeah, my bum knee.
Oh, Jesus. All right. So cool. So why am I talking about this? I mean, a $17 million project. I mean, 17 million is a lot of money, but small in comparison to so many other ones. This is going to be right off of, what is this? Right off of Hoffner. Oh, no, this is Joe Hoffner. Let's see. Oh, State Road 44. And it's going to be finished by early 26. Like this is going very quickly. Break ceremony for groundbreaking was just yesterday. And so the development's going to be 2-story townhouses priced between $380 and $425, featuring 3 bedrooms and 2.5 baths. Now, why am I again bringing up this sort of small development? I wanted to see what can you get in Eustis? So I looked at give me something that's been built in the past 10, 15, I've did 15 years, and like a 3 or 4 bedroom single family home. And there's a lot of them. There's 38 of them, which is, but again, 300,000 or mid threes gets you, let's see, something decent. This one's built in 2023, 4 bedrooms, 2 baths in the 300s.
Yeah, it's not bad at all.
No.
Wow. This is, yeah.
So again, is Orlando more expensive? Are there more millionaires apparently living here than ever before? Yes. But again, 2,000, here's one, 2,000 square feet or 1,932, 4 bedrooms, 2 baths, 390. And it's been on the market for 2 months. It's got new construction all around it. Built in 2018. So anyways, it is interesting. Some of these Lake County towns, when people ask me what's coming next, and I keep saying I think St. Cloud and Lake County are the 2 biggest growth spots because they're still fairly affordable in comparison. You could still get something here in the $300,000-$400,000 range. And I get that that's not cheap. Before you blow me up in the comments later on, I get it. $300,000-$400,000 is not a cheap house, but it's cheaper than everything else in many of the areas in Orlando. And you look at the average, speaking of which, I pulled that up. The average sales price in Orlando currently is $581,000. The median price, $448,000. The current average list price is $623,000. So again, if you can get a single family home somewhere in our area in the 300s or 400s, Lake County got a lot of options. Leesburg, Eustis. Now, again, those are areas where you're probably not going to have. Where'd you go, Chase? Oh, there you go. You're not going to probably have a ton of amenities, but they've got the lakes there, and you're not so far away that you can't go visit and save a couple $100,000 on your house.
I saw your mouse moving, so I didn't click away yet.
Oh, sorry.
I didn't know if you were still talking about it.
Good. Let's see. So let's see. Oh, this is interesting. So Sunrail Cope says, Ken, the one thing I noticed about Orlando is that for some reason we constantly assign an entire region to one developer rather than to multiple people. That's an interesting take. So here's the thing. So in Horizon West, that's Boyd Development. They're the ones that took the risk. They're the ones that, got together the money for the majority of it and created the master plan and then are now executing on it. Tavistock over in the Lake Nona area, they own 17 square miles of the city. And so it's not that we've assigned them one as much as it is they're taking a massive risk by spending hundreds of millions of their own dollars to go there. Whereas in a downtown area, there's just not as big of spaces. You've got a Unicorp going in and they're buying up maybe a couple acres or 10, 15 acres and building their own thing. And so that's what you see in many other cities, where in so many other urban sprawl areas, you have one developer that will then maybe parcel off, places to others, little small developers to develop their own thing, or they choose 10, 15, 20 builders to partner with, or they'll sell off pieces of property to Pulte or Toll Brothers and that kind of thing. But the reason why you see these massive, massive areas with one developer, they're the ones that got the money together and got the risk. Sarah says, pickleball, next team building event. Sarah, you're going to get me. This is, I've never played pickleball.
I think that she can spearhead that.
Okay, I think she can.
And I will not be attending the pickleball event.
Dude, whatever. Come on. You could try.
I mean, I would do too good. Everybody would be so jealous of how good I am. So
let's see. Going through the mailbag one more time, and then we're gonna wrap up.
Okay. Let me pick the right one here. Let's do this one. Right here. So here's one from Apopka. There wasn't a name for it. I keep hearing it's a buyer's market in Orlando, and I saw a stat that the number of active listings in Florida is close to what we were seeing in 2008 around the crash. What's your take?
Yeah. So not in 2008. Actually, we're back to where it is in 2019. And so again, it's a very like normal market. You do look at if you want to go back over here, Chase. So you look at the market here. Average or months of inventory is at 5, and so we are very much so trending in a buyer's market. And you look at until interest rates come down, I think we're going to be in a buyer's market. And so you look at like anything under this looks like under 500 is more of a balanced market. Over 500 is a buyer's market. And so that means you get opportunities for deals, which is why more builders are offering incentives and that kind of thing. The one thing that like is very, very different than 2008, one, our job market is still fantastic. Like unemployment is still extremely low. 2 is that we have a very, very different equity position in the majority. There's actually never been more paid off houses than there are in 2025. And so instead of people that have way over leveraged with no equity, that's what caused it was, the subprime market, job losses, and people with no equity is what caused the crash to happen. Now our area is pulling back 100%. In a buyer's market, you're going to have areas like a Davenport, like a Point Siena, like the areas that had lots of overbuilding that have just happened over the past few years where the prices have pulled back. And so yeah, it just happens, right? But then you've got places like Winter Park and Windermere, some of the more premium areas. Baldwin Park, this is crazy, dude. I saw Baldwin Park right now, single family homes, average days on market is less than 10 days.
That's wild, dude.
Yeah, like there's just not a lot of houses that even come up. And so we're like, it's multiple offers, it's crazy stuff happening. And so it's pocket driven in many areas, but the areas that are getting hit the most are the ones that have the most amount of inventory. And so you'll see pullbacks for sure. Is that going to be 1%, 3%, 5%? Who knows? Time will tell. But I think as long as our job market stays strong and people still have equity, they're just locked in. This is the problem that many people are having is like they have tons of equity. They would love to sell and move, but they're not going to take a 7% interest rate. And so there's just not a lot of activity. It's an interesting time. For sure. All right, man. What are you doing this weekend?
I don't have anything planned right now.
No,
which is fantastic.
Good for you. Sometimes that's just great, man.
What do you have planned, Mr. Birthday Boy?
It is my 40th birthday on Saturday, and I am going to Epic Universe with my family.
Have your kids went yet, or has it just been you?
It's just been me. I've been twice for media events, and then we haven't been back. So yeah, I've been excited. We're going to take the whole family. Got the express pass. We're doing it up. And yeah, I'm stoked. We're going to get there early with the express pass to get early because we're staying at the hotel there, cool. Helios as well. And so we get early access. We're going to run over to Ministry of Magic and then try to get it all in, man.
Is anything not included in the express pass? Is Ministry included?
Ministry is the only one that I know of that's not included. Which did you know they added it to Hagrid's, by the way? Like you can go to Hagrid's and get express pass after. So
I didn't know.
Yeah, so if you have a certain tier of
the 4 o'clock thing,
the 4 o'clock thing is freaking awesome.
Yeah,
and so you can go jump on some of the best rides in Orlando after 4. So yeah, I'm excited. Epic, big birthday. And then we're back to business. I think we're wrapping up for tonight, but thanks so much for hanging out with us as back. We will be back a little bit more frequently for sure. I promise 40 episodes a year. That's my promise. And so far we are on track this year, but thanks guys so much. Give us a thumbs up before you leave. It pushes it out to the YouTube gods. We'll see you on the next episode.